how else to phrase it, but there's something about, if you Google.
That sounds like an ad for liquid death.
Right. I mean, listen, take a look.
There's so many murders, and let's have a liquid death.
Have your liquid death. It's like every time I have.
The taste will murder you.
This Celsius is really good. No, but I mean, like, if you Google like most famous murders or whatever, it's OJ's, like everyone knows. So it's like, were you just shocked at the magnitude, or was it because it was the first, it was before reality?
Yeah.
And it was so
It's
huge.
because of, first of all, like you said, there's characters from Judge Ito and everything. Then Jay Leno did the dancing Itos, and it continued in the monologues of Leno and Letterman, and it just was on Comedy Central. It just continued. It was just titillating. People were watching it. Everybody knew they were watching it. I mean, statistics, and this is not even being big-headed, but I would get things of, at that time, I was more popular than Al Gore. More people recognize me. The most pizzas.
It says that on your Wikipedia page, by the way.
I don't know who wrote that, but
it's true.
During my testimony, beating the Super Bowl, more pizzas were ordered than in the history of pizza ordering. So it's like, I should get an endorsement or something. But these are real facts that came out. And then in every magazine, they compared my hair with Jennifer Aniston from Friends, and they had Brad Pitt. So it was all these things of who's the best hair, and it'd be like just a cross between Kato and Fabio. And I only hang out with people that end in O. It's Kato, Fabio, and Harpo, and Zeppo, and Groucho. So it was sort of like in on the joke, but it was none of my doing. It would just be, hey, have you seen this? Because, I at that time, I think I was public image of, free to the public. They could make fun of me.
And so, like, what was that like? Because, like, you had this whole career in Hollywood trying to, make it, and you were making it. But here you are. I mean, people try their whole careers, and they're not famous, so to speak. Not that that's the end-all, be-all, but, like, was that... you're telling me you're hanging out with Oprah and, Larry.
We do the shows, yeah. Well, I did hang out with Larry a lot. And, I became dear friends with Bill Maher. I mean, it had that, Charlie Sheen became a great friend. So I had great friends, but and also still to this day. So,
you have Hollywood stories people would kill for.
Yeah, there's so many great times and so many great people. And I think if I didn't have something, there's got to be substance, because otherwise people just kick you to the side. And, I was portrayed as the dummy, a freeloader, a pariah, and an assassin's target. But I knew all these things of who I was, and I'm here to stay. And it's really every day I'm doing something. From doing a comedy bit this last weekend, and doing my podcast. By the way, you subscribe to it, 1 Degree of Scandalous.
We're going to talk about that. I've listened to it. It's great.
Yeah, it's and with Tom Zenner, he's fantastic. But constantly, I became a name that I like to use. It became friend. We exchanged stories and numbers as Harvey Levin of TMZ. So, just a few weeks ago, they did a huge story of my new wife and I stealing oranges when we weren't, but the story was TMZ put down Kato stealing oranges, OJ. They're trying to make the reference when in reality, the makes it look like I'm stealing these oranges, but the guy, I walk in my neighborhood and the guy just says, oh yeah, take what you want, but you don't know that part of the story. So he wanted me to do a show. It is funny. It's like, okay, I would tell Harvey, I go, Harvey, please. I was looking for grapefruit, no more OJ. And I just, up a little show that I wrote. We'll see if it gets on. And I just shot a pilot. David, you'll love this one. And I really think it's going to go. It's called Teen Court. We shot 3 episodes with John Gray. If you don't know who John Gray is, he's a huge influencer. He was the pastor for Obama's and Oprah, and he's the judge. But it's all the teens suing their parents over gender or, mommy, I want my own butt lift. It's all because of social media, and the parents are saying no way. And then there's a name, image, likeness cases where the athlete's 16, endorsed for a lot of money, but the mother wants the money. So we're doing everything. It's very topical, and it's done brilliantly. And the people in it are really, really, the parents and the kids are really at it, where it's real. And when I did the show, I thought, oh yeah, it's a good idea. But when I did the show, you kind of watch it, you shoot the show, and you go, this is really compelling. It's the most different type of court show. And we'll see what happens, but it's Teen Court, and I think it's just going to rock and roll.
I mean, that sounds. Listen, there's been Judge Judy, like Jerry Springer had his own. Like, there's a lot of. It's a successful format.
Networks are looking for a little bit of a different one now.
That's what I mean, because like
we have a huge. I
like the teen angle.
This week we have we'll see what goes on. We have a huge pitch with the network, and they love it.
Wow. No, I mean, I'm picturing it. There hasn't
order
been...
in the podcast. Order, David, order in the podcast.
I mean, what is going to be your role in this? Are you going to be like...
I'm doing I did. I shot it already. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, it's myself as I introduce the case, and they goes to the judge of the case, and then we have a jury. We have the cell phones, and they pick why, and who, and then I interview them why. Judge makes a decision, then I talk to the plaintiff and defend the parents. At the end of the show, and I lead into the next one. But
I mean, you're getting called for the Amber Heard, Johnny. I mean, this is I see this is on brand for you.
It's a court's a brand. Crime does pay, It's sort of like, but yeah, it's real cases, and the world now is just so divided, even with the parents and social media. And social media, with TikTok, it is. My personal opinion is, it's really dividing us, and it's like, kids know they can make a lot more money than the parents can even make with social influencers, and and who knows, is TikTok?
Can you imagine if we were young right now? Like, I mean, we're young, but I mean, if we were like 22 right now, I'm like,
yeah. If I had social media during my time, and that, which I'm sort of glad I didn't, but once again, the blueprint of life, it's like, you're not going to have social media, because I would have been pretty wealthy, I think, of getting on in social media.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Were you shocked, like, being a part of that when the verdict came down, that OJ was not guilty? Like, not really what you thought, because we can go over that in a second, but like, were you shocked?
Yeah, I was shocked. And I kind of knew it, because when I was testifying a lot of the times, I would see the jury react to OJ, where this is, the cameras are set up that you can't see the jury. But I am right there sitting on the stand, and every time that OJ walked in, they'd be waving to him, and he'd wave back, like at least 3 or 4 of them, like this. And you're like, wow, can't that person get knocked off the jury for that stuff?
Do you think that really is, like, there's so much out there. We watched the Ryan Murphy thing, Marcia Clark messed this up, she messed that up. Or do you think it's a huge thing, it's just the power of celebrity?
Well, I think he had to prove, can you get the entire jury to convict? I don't think that's going to happen. I think the Johnny Cochran working it with his rhymes, the poetry of "If the glove don't fit, you must acquit." I think it kind of rung out in their mind. I'm sure when they're going into the chambers to discuss what's going to happen, it's hard to get everybody to agree with it. And I think that's one of the reasons too. I just think the jury was under a lot of pressure too. Rodney King had just happened. And it was like, OJ's going to probably get off on this trial. And I even know I was filming a show with Barbara Walters at the time, 2020, and for the live broadcast, and I just whispered, I think they personally, my opinion, made a mistake.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, meaning like, because I mean, I know you've said things throughout the years, like, where are you today in 2023? Like,
I think, I was sequestered. I didn't know a lot of the trial. I really didn't watch. I listened to the, Ito when he said that. I was scared, like, oh, can I go to jail if I do something out of, if I watch something? So I didn't watch. And you knew more than I did during parts of the trial. I found a little bit later. And then, with the DNA evidence, all the stuff coming up, I was like, oh, this is like 1 in a billion. And at the time I wrote a joke about DNA to me meant dude needs apartment, and for OJ was dude needs alibi. So it was no one knew DNA yet, and Barry Scheck was their attorney of the defense. He, I think, was the most important attorney, because he painted the picture to the jury of tainting blood, all these things, and I just think that no one understood what DNA was. So it was the first of its kind. The trial was first on TV. DNA. So that's why it's still there today. Every trial is related to this trial. So it's kind of the template of all trials.
So you think there's no question that OJ is guilty?
Yeah, my opinion is I think he's guilty. I think a lot of people in hindsight now are even going, oh, yeah, OJ. But he's got his own fans. People that love OJ are going to love OJ. He's got a huge following on Twitter. And I'm blown away by that. I don't follow him, but